Good morning, everyone. I have for you a photo of a flooded neighborhood. Now you might be thinking, this is just any random neighborhood that flooded at a random time, and I just pulled it off the internet because I needed a picture for my speech. But what if I told you, this isn't just any random neighborhood. This is a neighborhood in our own state of Tennessee, and this photo was taken this year. This is the town of Reeves in West Tennessee. On Sunday, February 16th, 2025, the Obion River flooded, causing 200 people to need evacuation. So now you're probably thinking, that's terrible, but it was just a one-off, right? I mean, big natural disasters like this, they don't happen that often, right? This is the photo of the Unicoi Hospital, also in Tennessee, that flooded after Hurricane Helene. I don't think I need to remind you of the horrible damage that Hurricane Helene did to Tennessee and North Carolina. Within 6 months of each other, the state of Tennessee had 2 drastic floods. But what if I told you that Mother Nature has a built-in protection system against flooding? I'm talking about natural wetlands. Natural wetlands are vital for slowing flood surges and holding water. But what if I also told you that there is a bill currently in committee that could remove regulations protecting wetlands from being developed? That is why I am here today. I'm here to tell you about House Bill 1054 and why it cannot be passed, because we need to protect our wetlands. As an environmental science major here at Belmont University, it wasn't long ago that we discussed the impacts of climate change in class. As our world warms, major storms like thunderstorms and hurricanes are going to become more frequent and more powerful, and with them, they will bring floods. This is why we need to prevent House Bill 1054. During this speech, I'm going to tell you why we need our wetlands, what House Bill 1054 is and why it's bad, and what we can do about it. So let's begin. Why are wetlands important? Wetlands are essential for animals, the environment, and for people. They're important for animals because they provide habitat. As humans develop the world, we tend to destroy a lot of land, and it is important that we leave space for animals to thrive. Wetlands also provide certain ecological niches. For instance, amphibians, like frogs, can lay eggs in their wetlands without worrying about big predators like fish eating them. That means that tadpoles can grow up and be safe, according to R. Semlich, and J. Bodie in a 2001 Conservation Biology journal. Not only this, but wetlands are important for refilling streams after droughts. For people, wetlands reduce floods. A Science Direct article by W. Mitch and J. Gosselink notes that in wetlands, plants slow water surges and hold overflowing water. In 2016, Kay Watson and a number of other researchers ran a study on the impacts of wetlands and floods, published on Science Direct. They simulated hurricane floods with and without wetland and floodplains. After simulating, they mapped the flood paths and estimated monetary damages. Their results indicated that natural wetlands reduced the damage of Hurricane Irene in Vermont by 84 to 95%. Not only this, but wetlands are also great for removing water quality and getting rid of contaminants. Wetlands are also important for recreation. I don't need a scholarly source to tell you that going for a nature walk on a boardwalk over a swamp is a great way to get exercise and see animals. In fact, all of the photos that you see here, I took myself in various natural wetlands around the country. So, you have firsthand evidence that wetlands are great for recreation and for all the animals you can see displayed here. So now that we know why wetlands are so important, let's talk about House Bill 1054. Tennessee.gov states that House Bill 1054 prohibits the Department of Environment and Conservation from applying criteria that will result in the classification of real property as a wetland, or otherwise regulating real property as a wetland, unless the property is classified as a wetland under federal law. My sources helped clarify that this bill will reduce regulations on wetlands that are smaller than 2 acres and not clearly connected to waterways. Currently, developers must get approval from the state and pay a fine if they want to build wetlands over, according to Stevenson in a 2025 Tennessee Lookout article. Now, while this bill is ultimately bad, it is important to acknowledge that there are some benefits. Tennessee's population is expanding rapidly, and this bill would reduce the cost for new developments and enable projects to be built faster. And this reason is why I think it's important to know something about Senator Kevin Vaughn, who is sponsoring this bill. In 2019, the senator's company was caught draining and filling a wetland without a permit. This new legislation would mean that he might not have needed a permit in the first place, and it also might mean that he might not have to pay the fine that came when he got caught. When WPLN News asked him if he had personal financial motivation to propose this bill, he did not respond, says C. Eggers in a 2024 WPLN article. So, while it might seem like this bill is just trying to solve the housing crisis, it could really be a senator just trying to legalize a loophole he's already used. And even so, any money that is saved by getting rid of the fines is going to be paid back tenfold when floods come in and destroy all this property. But there's something else you might have noticed. This bill only removes protections for wetlands that are smaller than 2 acres. You might be thinking, that's pretty small. Is that even going to make a difference if this is passed? Well, 94% of Tennessee's wetlands are less than 2 acres. If this bill is passed, the overwhelming majority of wetlands are going to be vulnerable to destruction. And that's pretty bad when you consider that 60% of Tennessee's wetlands have already been lost. So looking over the statistics, I think we can agree that House Bill 1054 is not in the best interest of Tennessee. But what can we do about it? Well, you can track the bill using legiscan.com, a resource I used when making this presentation. You can also contact our representatives, Senator Jeff Yarbrough and Representative Bob Freeman. Feel free to take a picture of the screen and email them. I emailed them myself. Representative Bob Freeman is a great resource because he's actually on the committee that is hearing this bill. So, yeah, feel free to track the bill. And now that we know that, let's conclude. My biology textbook that I was reading over break says that habitat destruction is the #1 threat to global biodiversity. If this bill is passed, even more habitat that has already been destroyed is going to be eliminated. We have talked about why wetlands are so important, what House Bill 1054 is and why it is threatening them, and how we can help stop this bill. As an environmental science major, I love our world, and I love our animals and our habitat. And if this bill is passed, so much habitat is going to be destroyed, but it's also going to impact us, because we're going to have to deal with flooding, which is why I urge you to take action today. As Dr. Seuss said in his beloved 1971 classic, The Lorax, unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It is not. Thank you.